Wake up. Look at your life right now. Are you truly pulling the strings, or are you just reacting to everything around you? You are living like a prisoner in a kingdom you own. You have spent years looking outside yourself for answers. You look to the world, your boss, your partner, and your bank account to tell you who you are. Stop doing that. It is a trap. The truth is, you are a creator. You hold an untapped power within your own mind. This is not a theory. It is an immutable law. Every single thing you experience is an exact reflection of your inner state. If you do not like what is happening outside, you must change what is happening inside. The veil is lifting. Your spiritual awakening begins right now. It is time to reclaim your inner power and step into your true destiny. Introduction: The Great Awakening of Mind. You are tired. I know you are. You are tired of running on the treadmill of life, working yourself to the bone, and wondering why things never truly change. You have read the books. You have tried positive thinking. You have listened to the superficial motivational speakers who tell you to just smile and grind harder. Yet, here you are, still fighting the same old battles, dealing with the same financial stress, and waking up with that same heavy feeling in your chest. Let's be honest with ourselves. Why are you still struggling? It is because you have been looking for the solution in the wrong place. The problem isn't out there. It never was. The problem is inside your own mind. You have been trying to fix the mirror instead of changing your face. You think that if you just get a new job, a new city, or a new relationship, everything will magically fall into place. That is a delusion. You are taking the same broken programming with you wherever you go. New scenery, same old story. More than 2,000 years ago, the great Master Jesus gave us a profound piece of esoteric wisdom. He said, "The kingdom of God is within you." Think about that. Truly think about it. He did not say it was across the ocean. He did not say it was in a church building. He did not say it was something you only get access to after you die and go to the clouds. He said it is within you. Right now. In this exact moment. But what do? We completely ignore this ancient teaching. We look for our kingdom in a paycheck. We look for it in a relationship. We look for it in validation from people who do not even know who they are. We hustle, we stress, we lose sleep, and we beg the universe for scraps. We act like beggars on a street corner, holding out a cup for a little bit of luck, completely unaware that we are sitting on a chest full of gold. You're giving away your power. Every single time you blame the economy, your childhood, your ex, or your boss for your lack of peace and prosperity, you are handing them the remote control to your life. Jesus was trying to wake us up to a massive metaphysical truth. He was trying to tell us that we are directly connected to an infinite intelligence. This intelligence responds directly to our thoughts, our beliefs, and our dominant mental focus. When you understand this, you experience a true spiritual awakening. You realize that you are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of it. But let's have a playful reality check here. Your excuses are working harder than you are. You love to tell yourself that you are stuck because the world is unfair. You say you are stuck because you do not have enough money to start, or because you are too old, or because you are too young. That's a convenient excuse. The truth is, you're waiting instead of deciding. You are waiting for permission that no one is going to give you. You are waiting for a green light from a world that is designed to keep you stopped. This is an exploration of the 7 universal laws that govern all of reality. These are the laws of consciousness. They are the immutable principles of new thought and ancient metaphysics. They have been hidden in plain sight for centuries, encoded in mythologies, buried in sacred texts, and passed down by the mystery schools of antiquity. These laws do not care if you believe in them or not. They operate perfectly, mathematically, and relentlessly, 24 hours a day. Just like gravity does not care if you believe in it before you step off a cliff, these mental laws do not care about your ignorance. They are mapping your thoughts directly into physical form. When you learn these laws, you can finally begin the real work of mind reprogramming. You will stop being a leaf blown around by the chaotic winds of external events. You will become the wind itself. You will realize that you possess a profound inner power that has been dormant, waiting for you to recognize it. But let me give you a fair warning before we go any further. This is not a feel-good book full of empty platitudes. I am not here to coddle your ego or tell you that you are doing great when your life is in chaos. I am here to act as a mentor who sees your absolute greatness but refuses to let you stay stuck in your self-imposed prison. You are going to have to let go of your old identity. You've become very committed to a story that's no longer serving you. You are committed to the story of being the underdog, the victim, the person who always gets the short end of the stick. It is time to write a new one. It is time for self-realization. It is time to take full personal responsibility and master your destiny. Are you ready to stop negotiating with your potential? Are you ready to see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Good. Let us transition. Chapter 1, The Principle of Mentalism. The first great universal law is simple, profound, and absolute: the all is mind, the universe is mental. Let that sink into your awareness. Don't just hear it and nod your head like you've understood something just because the words sound nice. Truly let it sink in. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you hear, and everything you experience in this physical reality began as a thought. There is no exception to this rule. There are no anomalies. There are no instances where this law decides to take a night off. Look around the room you are sitting in right now. The chair you are sitting on. It was a thought in a furniture designer's mind before it became wood, metal, and fabric. The device you are holding in your hand or the speakers throwing this sound into your ears. It was a thought in an engineer's mind long before it was ever assembled in a factory. The clothes on your back, the buildings outside your window, the streets you drive on, the entire civilization we live in, all of it is crystallized thought substance. Your entire life is an exact physical manifestation of your dominant thoughts. Now, I can hear your cynical mind kicking in already. That's not a fact, that's a belief. That is what your ego says when you want to deny your inner power. Your ego desperately wants to believe that the physical world is hard, cold, unyielding, and completely independent of what you think. It wants to believe that you are just a random biological accident trying to survive in a hostile environment that doesn't care about you. Why does it want to believe that? Because if the world is independent of you, then you are off the hook. If the world is just happening to you, then you don't have to take responsibility for the mess you're in. You can just blame bad luck. But ancient esoteric wisdom and modern metaphysics tell us otherwise. Your consciousness is the primal substance of the universe. Matter is not primary, mind is primary. Reality is not made of rocks and water, reality is made of thought. Charles F. Haanel, one of the great pioneers of the New Thought movement and the mastermind behind the Master Key system, taught that thought creates matter. He didn't say thought influences matter. He didn't say thought makes you feel better about matter. He said thought creates matter. Your mind is a literal, high-powered broadcasting station. It sends out energetic waves that shape, manipulate, and form the very fabric of your physical reality. If your thoughts are chaotic, your life will be chaotic. If your thoughts are focused on lack, poverty, and limitation, your life will manifest lack, poverty, and limitation with absolute, cold, mathematical precision. Let's do a harsh, unfiltered reality check right now. Look at your current bank account. Look at the balance. Look at your relationships. Look at the way people treat you. Look at your health and the vitality of your physical body. Look at the state of your career. Those things are not random events. They are not the result of bad luck, good luck, a bad economy, or a favorable horoscope. They are the physical evidence of your subconscious programming. They are your dominant thoughts made visible. They are the mirror reflecting your internal state. Stop acting like a victim. Nobody did this to you. Your boss did not do this to you. Your parents did not do this to you by what they said 20 years ago. The government did not do this to you. You did this to yourself through your unmonitored, undisciplined, chaotic thoughts. You have been letting your mind run wild like a feral animal, focusing constantly on what you fear, what you hate, what you lack, and what you do not want to happen. And the universe, operating under the law of mentalism, has been dutifully, perfectly delivering exactly what you have been focusing on. You are the one pulling the trigger, and then you're crying when the bullet hits. Joseph Murphy wrote extensively about the incredible, untapped power of the subconscious mind. He explained that your subconscious mind is like highly fertile soil. It does not care what kind of seed you plant in it. It is completely impersonal, completely non-judgmental. It doesn't say, "Oh, this is a seed of poverty, I shouldn't grow this." If you plant seeds of fear, worry, doubt, and scarcity, it will grow a harvest of failure, lack, and disease. If you plant seeds of wealth, health, joy, and peace, it will grow a harvest of success and boundless abundance. The problem with you is that you are running around throwing toxic weeds into your mental garden all day long, and then you're wondering why your life feels like an absolute mess. You spend hours watching negative news broadcasts, scrolling through depressing, competitive social media feeds, gossiping about your neighbor's failures, and complaining to anyone who will listen about how expensive everything is becoming. Then, you sit down at night, close your eyes, and wonder why you feel anxious, broke, and stuck. Who told you that was a good idea? Why are you exposing your fragile, highly suggestible subconscious mind to the garbage of the world and then expecting to live a high-level, prosperous life? It is a total mismatch of frequency. You need a complete, radical, total mind reprogramming. You must become the ruthless, unyielding gatekeeper of your mind. You can no longer afford the luxury of a single. Neville Goddard gave us the ultimate practical key to executing the law of mentalism. He taught that you must assume the feeling of the wish being fulfilled. Read that phrase again in your mind, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You cannot just think about your desire from a distance. You cannot sit there and say, "I wish I had more money," or "I hope I get that promotion." Doing that does nothing but reinforce the fact that you do not currently have it. It places your desire outside of you, in the future, which means it stays away from you. You must think from your desire. If you want to be wealthy, you must start feeling wealthy right now, at this exact moment, before the first dollar shows up in your physical bank account. You must see yourself as the person you want to become, walk like that person, speak like that person, and think like that person. You must understand that in the realm of mind, you are already what you desire to become. The physical world is just a delayed shadow, the mental reality is where the true creation happens. If you own it mentally, the physical world has no choice but to objectify it. But I can hear your ego talking right now. That's your ego talking. It is screaming, "But I can't feel wealthy because my bank account is literally overdrawn. I can't feel healthy because my back hurts. I have a stack of bills to pay today, how do you expect me to ignore that?" You've mistaken fear for wisdom. You think you are being realistic by focusing on your problems. You think that obsessing over your debts and your lacks is the responsible, mature thing to do. In reality, you are just reinforcing your limitations. You are anchoring yourself to the very conditions you claim you want to escape. You are using the power of your mind to create more of what you don't want. Reality is not fixed, it is completely malleable. It bends, twists, and reshapes itself to the will of a focused, disciplined mind. When you change your internal mental state, the external physical state has no choice but to transform. It is an absolute universal law. It is not a suggestion. To activate your inner power, you must practice radical, military-grade mental discipline starting today, right now. When a negative thought enters your mind, do not fight it, do not argue with it, and do not get depressed about it. Just replace it. Turn your attention fully and immediately to what you want to create. If a thought of poverty pops up, immediately slam the door on it and focus on infinite supply. If a thought of loneliness pops up, immediately turn your mind toward love and connection. You must become a master of your attention. Where your attention goes, your creative energy flows. Your future self is watching this choice. Every single thought you think is either an investment or an expense. It is either moving you closer to your destiny of freedom, power, and abundance, or it is tearing your life down and keeping you locked in a cage. You are negotiating with your potential every single time you choose mindless entertainment over education, worry over faith, and cheap excuses over relentless execution. Let's look at how this plays out in your daily routine. You wake up in the morning, and the very first thing you do is reach for your phone. You check the news, you check your notifications, you look at what other people are doing, and you immediately let the outside world tell your mind what to think. You start your day in reaction mode. You are letting the mentalism of other people dictate your reality. You are letting the collective consciousness of fear, lack, and struggle program your brain before you've even stepped out of bed. Who told you that was a good idea? If the universe is mental, then the person who controls their mind controls their universe. But you aren't controlling yours, you're outsourcing it to algorithms, to the media, to your complaining coworkers, and to your past traumas. You've become very committed to a story that's no longer serving you. You are committed to the story of being the underdog, the person who has to fight for scraps, the person who never gets a break. That story is an illusion created by your ego to keep you safe in your comfort zone. The comfort zone is called, it misses you. It wants you to stay small. It wants you to stay predictable. If you want to break out of that prison, you have to understand the power of causation. Your mind is the cause, your life is the effect. If you want to change the effect, you must stop manipulating the physical world and start manipulating your mental world. You cannot force a business to succeed through sheer physical hustle if your subconscious mind is vibrating with the terror of failure. You cannot force a relationship to be stable if your internal blueprint is screaming that you are unworthy of love. You are trying to change the printout without changing the digital document on the screen. It is an exercise in total futility. So, how do you fix it? You start by changing the input. You start by using your imagination, your true creative faculty, to build a new mental blueprint. Neville Goddard emphasized that your imagination is the literal power of God within you. It is not just a tool for daydreaming, it is the workshop of reality. What you can see clearly in your mind, what you can feel as real with absolute conviction, you can create in the physical world. But this requires you to stop being lazy with your thoughts. It requires you to stop letting your mind drift into worry the moment you aren't actively doing something. It requires you to sit in the captain's chair of your own consciousness and direct your thoughts with absolute intent. When you sit down to work, you focus on prosperity. When you speak to people, you speak from a place of inner power. When you think about your future, you view it through the lens of absolute victory. This is the path of spiritual awakening. This is the path of self-realization. It is the understanding that you are not a helpless creature trapped in a physical world. You are a mental being operating in a mental universe, and you hold the remote control. Stop acting like a guest in your own home. Stop begging the universe for a break, for some good luck, or for a helping hand. The universe doesn't give breaks, it gives reflections. It reflects back to you exactly what you are broadcasting. If you are broadcasting, I am broke, things are hard, I am struggling, the universe says, correct, and gives you more bills, more car trouble, and more dead ends. If you change your broadcast to, I am secure, I am powerful, I am connected to infinite intelligence, opportunities flow to me naturally, the universe says, correct, and opens doors you didn't even know existed. It is a completely neutral, mathematical law. It has no favorites. It doesn't love the rich and hate the poor. It just responds to the mental pressure applied to it. Commit to this truth today, mind is the master. Matter is the servant. Stop letting the outside world tell your mind what to think. Take control of the wheel right now. Tell your mind exactly what to think, hold that vision with absolute, unshakable faith, and watch the physical world rearrange itself to match your new mental blueprint. The problem isn't out there. It never was. The problem, and the solution, is you. Step into your power, reprogram your mind, and master. Chapter 2, The Principle of Correspondence. The second universal law declares, as above, so below, as below, so above. Do not rush past these words. Do not dismiss them as a worn-out spiritual cliché that you've seen on social media graphics or read in passing. This law is the ultimate, definitive key to self-realization and personal awakening. It means that there is a perfect, unbroken harmony, agreement, and correspondence between the different planes of reality. The spiritual, the mental, and the physical. The outer world that you experience every single day is nothing more than a giant, flawless mirror of your inner world. What happens on the invisible mental plane reflects exactly, with zero distortion, on the visible physical plane. If you want to know what is truly going on inside your subconscious mind, you do not need to hire an expensive therapist, consult a psychic, or search for external signs. All you have to do is take a cold, hard look at your current life. Your environment, your lifestyle, your social circle, and your bank balance are a three-dimensional printout of your internal state. They are the physical crystallization of your hidden beliefs. The problem isn't out there. Stop trying to change the people around you. Stop trying to force external circumstances to fit your desires through sheer manipulation and control. It is completely exhausting, and it never works. You're overcomplicating it. Imagine standing in front of your bathroom mirror in the morning. You look at the reflection and you see a deep, miserable frown on your face. Do you walk up to the mirror and try to physically grab the glass to force the reflection to smile? Do you smash the mirror into pieces because you hate the image it's showing you? Of course not. That would be a sign of absolute insanity. You smile first, within yourself, and then the mirror reflects that smile back to you effortlessly. It has no choice. The mirror cannot argue with the original image. Yet, you do this exact insane thing every single day of your life. You try to force your business to make money without fixing your deep-seated scarcity mindset. You try to force people to love and respect you while your internal dialogue is filled with self-criticism, unworthiness, and self-sabotage. You try to fix the symptoms of your life while completely ignoring the root cause. You are trying to alter the reflection without changing the face in front of the glass. Florence Scovel Shinn, an extraordinary pioneer of New Thought metaphysics, taught us that your mental attitude shapes every single outcome. She famously wrote that life is not a battle to be fought, but a game to be played. And if you want to win the game of life, you must understand the rules perfectly. One of the most fundamental rules is that you must clear out the inner clutter, the inner doubt, and the inner fear before any outer blessings can manifest in your physical experience. You cannot receive a high-level life while holding on to a low-level self-image. The universe will never give you what you want, it will only give you a physical match for who you are. Let's have a tough love mentor check right here. The comfort zone is called, it misses you. You love to complain about your chaotic life, your toxic relationships, your lack of capital, and your lack of opportunities. But the truth is, you are profoundly comfortable in that misery. You are comfortable in your drama. You are comfortable in your poverty mindset because it gives you something to talk about with your friends. It gives you a sense of belonging with other people who are also struggling. It gives you an easy excuse to stay small, stay hidden, and stay safe. It allows you to avoid the terrifying, monumental responsibility of stepping into your true greatness. You've become very committed to a story that's no longer serving you. If you want a beautiful, orderly, affluent outer life, you must create a beautiful, orderly, affluent inner life first. You must clean up your internal house. You must align your conscious desires with your subconscious beliefs. You cannot repeat affirmations like, "I am wealthy," with your mouth while your heart is violently vibrating with the cold terror of poverty. The universe does not hear the words you speak, it resonates with the frequency of what you are. If there is a contradiction between your words and your feelings, the feeling always wins. Wallace D. Wattles, the author of The Science of Getting Rich, spoke about working in alignment with infinite intelligence through creative thought. He insisted that you do not get what you want by competing with others in the physical world, by pulling strings, or by tricking people. You get what you want by creating it in your mind with absolute clarity, absolute purpose, and absolute faith first. When you align your inner vision with the universal law of correspondence, the physical world has no choice but to correspond. The right people, the right resources, the right financial windfalls, and the right opportunities will be magnetically drawn into your life because you have become a match for them on the inside. So, how do you apply this law practically today? Look at the specific area of your life that is currently causing you the most stress, anxiety, and frustration. Is it your career? Your bank account? Your physical health? Your marriage? Now, stop looking at the external details. Stop looking at what your partner did or didn't do. Stop looking at the market trends. Look inward. Ask yourself with brutal honesty, what is the corresponding belief I hold about this specific area of my life? If your career is stuck, are you holding a hidden, subconscious belief that success is incredibly difficult to achieve, or that you are not smart enough to play in the big leagues, or that people always take advantage of you? Be honest with yourself. Stop lying to yourself to protect your fragile ego. The ego loves to paint you as the innocent bystander who just got dealt a bad hand. That's a convenient excuse. The truth is, you're waiting instead of deciding. You are waiting for the world to change its reflection so that you can finally change your mind. Once you identify that inner block, you must dissolve it completely. You must replace it with a higher truth. Proclaim your inner power. Declare that you are an absolute, unshakable match for your highest potential. If you see chaos in your external relationships, look at the chaos in your internal boundaries. If you see a lack in your bank account, look at the lack in your thoughts. The outside is just an indicator. It is a feedback mechanism. It is the universe's way of telling you exactly what you need to reprogram inside your mind. Remember, you cannot trick the law of correspondence. You cannot fake an inner state. You cannot just repeat positive statements like a mindless robot while feeling stressed, desperate, and miserable on the inside. You've mistaken fear for wisdom. You think that being hypervigilant about your problems is the smart way to live. You think that obsessing over your bills is being responsible. It is not. It is a misuse of your mind. Change the energetic pattern within your consciousness, hold that new pattern with fierce discipline, and the world outside will rearrange itself to match your new Chapter 3, The Principle of Vibration. The third universal law states a truth that bridges the gap between ancient mysticism and modern physics: nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. We live in a boundless, swirling ocean of pure energy. Modern quantum physics completely confirms this truth, but ancient esoteric wisdom knew it thousands of years before the invention of the first laboratory telescope or microscope. Solid matter does not actually exist in the way your physical eyes perceive it. The table you are sitting at, the walls around you, the ground beneath your feet, and your own physical body look solid, still, and permanent. But under a powerful electron microscope, that solidity vanishes. It is revealed to be a chaotic dance of trillions of subatomic particles moving and vibrating at incredible speeds around empty space. Everything in existence is energy, and all energy vibrates. Your thoughts are vibrations. Your emotions are vibrations. Love, joy, profound gratitude, and abundance vibrate at an incredibly high, rapid frequency. Fear, anger, guilt, jealousy, and a mindset of lack vibrate at an extremely low, sluggish, and heavy frequency. Here is the grand secret of mind reprogramming and radical transformation, like attracts like. You can only perceive, experience, and draw into your life things, people, and circumstances that are vibrating on the exact same frequency as you are. If you are constantly vibrating on the frequency of worry, anxiety, and frustration, you are a literal magnet for more things to worry about. You are tuning your mental radio to the chaos and struggle station, and then you are wondering why you keep hearing bad news, experiencing unexpected financial hits, and meeting difficult, draining people. You cannot tune your radio to 98.1 FM and expect to hear the broadcast from 105.5 FM. It is scientifically, mathematically, and metaphysically impossible. The universe will not bend its laws just because you want a break. You're giving away your power. You are letting external events determine your internal vibration. Think about your typical day. Someone cuts you off in traffic on your morning commute, and you choose to get angry. Your vibration instantly plummets. You get to work, and your boss snaps at you because they are dealing with their own stress. Your vibration drops even lower. You spend your lunch break complaining with your coworkers about management or the state of the economy. By the end of the day, you are completely exhausted, emotionally broke, and miserable. You blame the world. You blame your job. But the truth is, you allowed your internal frequency to be dictated by outside conditions. You let random people and trivial events play your mind like a cheap instrument. If procrastination were a profession, you'd be up for a promotion. You have been putting off the serious, daily work of raising your vibration because it takes absolute effort, awareness, and discipline. It takes intense mental strength to stay positive, stable, and grateful when things look bad on the outside. It takes supreme courage to feel wealthy, secure, and successful when you have very little money in your wallet. But Neville Goddard reminds us of a fundamental law of consciousness: feeling is the secret. The feeling is the vibration. When you use your imagination to feel the joy, the deep relief, and the excitement of your goal already achieved, you lift your energy to a higher plane. You change your broadcasting frequency. You become a perfect vibrational match for your true destiny. You are already what you desire to become, you just have to match its frequency to see it in the physical world. How do you raise your vibration right now, at this exact moment? First, you must stop feeding the low vibration monster. Stop complaining about your life. Stop hanging out with toxic, negative people who drain your energy like emotional vampires. Stop engaging in petty drama, and stop consuming mindless media that keeps you in a state of fear, anger, and division. Second, you must deliberately cultivate high vibration states. Practice intense, emotional gratitude. Not just a polite, intellectual thank you, but a deep, overwhelming realization of the magic of being alive. Use your imagination to see your ideal future in vivid detail. Focus on creative, expansive ideas that excite you. Joseph Murphy emphasized that the subconscious mind responds beautifully to praise and uplifted thoughts. Praise your life. Praise your body. Praise your money, even if it is just a small amount. What you praise and bless, multiplies. What you criticize, condemn, and complain about, diminishes and flees from your life. Stop letting your environment dictate your mood. You are the master musician of your life, and your mind is the instrument. Play a higher tune. Raise your frequency. Chapter 4, The Principle of Polarity. The fourth universal law reveals a massive, liberating secret about the structure of reality: everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Take a second to truly analyze this concept. Opposites are not actually separate, competing forces in the universe. They are completely identical in their core nature, but radically different in their degree of manifestation. Think about temperature. Where does cold end and heat begin? Is there a literal line in nature where a cold particle suddenly turns into a hot particle? No. Cold and heat are just two ends of the exact same scale of temperature. The same truth applies to light and dark, noise and silence, love and hate, poverty and wealth, failure and success. They are not two different things fighting each other, they are just the opposite poles of the exact same thing. This law is a monumental tool for mind reprogramming and rapid transformation. It means that every single negative situation you find yourself in contains the exact seed of its positive opposite. They exist on the exact same scale. If you are experiencing extreme financial lack right now, you are standing on the scale of abundance. You are just standing on the wrong end of it. Because they are on the same scale, you do not have to go out and search for a brand new path, a new universe, or a miracle. You do not have to wait for the world to change. You just have to slide along that mental scale to the other side. You simply change the degree of your mental focus. But let's be real here. You're arguing for your limitations again. When a challenge hits you, when you face a setback, a business failure, or a crisis, you focus 100% of your energy on the dark end of the pole. You scream, "Why does this always happen to me? Why am I so unlucky?" You obsess over the problem. You analyze it, you talk about it with everyone who will listen, and you make it bigger, heavier, and louder in your mind. Who told you that was a good idea? By focusing entirely on the negative pole of the situation, you hold yourself captive there. You freeze your energy in place. You are pinning yourself to the low end of the scale through your own attention. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that you must let go and let God. This means you completely stop fighting, resisting, and crying over the negative condition. What you resist, persists. Instead, you bless the situation for the contrast it provides, look for the hidden lesson, and then turn your attention fully and ruthlessly to the positive pole. If there is a financial crisis, you stop panicking and start looking for the hidden opportunity or the new digital skill you need to master. If there is a broken relationship, you stop crying over the past and focus on the deep self-love, strength, and personal growth that can come from it. This is true mental alchemy. This is the ancient art of transmuting the heavy lead of a bad experience into the pure gold of personal transformation. You've become very committed to a story that's no longer serving you. You love your tragic story. You love being the victim who survived all the misery, because it gives you sympathy from others. It gives your ego a twisted sense of importance. But do you want sympathy, or do you want power? Do you want to keep surviving misery, or do you want to live a life of boundless abundance? To change your life, you must change your polar focus. When fear arises, realize that courage is on the exact same scale. Slide toward courage. When doubt creeps in, realize that faith is right there. Slide toward faith. Charles F. Haanel explained that the human mind can only hold one dominant thought at a time. You cannot think about light and dark at the same identical instant. If you fill your mind completely with the clear, vivid vision of your success, your purpose, and your inner power, failure simply ceases to exist for you. It has no mental space to breathe. Stop viewing your problems as permanent, solid concrete blocks. They are just the opposite end of your next massive breakthrough. Shift your focus. Change your mental polarity. Chapter 5, The Principle of Rhythm. The fifth universal law dictates a truth that governs the rise and fall of empires, the changing of seasons, and the very beating of your heart. Everything flows, out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall, the pendulum swing manifests in everything, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left, rhythm compensates. Take a deep breath and look at the massive, sweeping nature of this principle. The universe does not move in a straight, stagnant line. It moves in beautiful, rhythmic, cyclical waves. The ocean tides come in, drowning the shore, and then the ocean tides go out, exposing the sand. The seasons transition seamlessly from the blinding warmth of summer to the quiet death of winter, only to be followed by the inevitable rebirth of spring. Great civilizations rise to the absolute peak of power, dominate the earth, and then slowly decay and disappear into the pages of history books. In your own personal life, your energy, your creativity, your financial states, and your moods will also have natural, rhythmic cycles. There will be days when you feel like you can conquer the world, and days when your energy feels heavy and slow. There will be months when money flows to you effortlessly, and months when the market seems quiet. Understanding this law is absolutely crucial for achieving true self-mastery, consciousness expansion, and long-term success. Most people are completely destroyed by the principle of rhythm because they have zero understanding of how to handle the backward swing of the universal pendulum. When things are going great, when the business is making massive money, the relationship is beautiful, and the physical health is perfect, they feel amazing. They ride the high wave. But the moment the pendulum inevitably swings back, and a challenge, a slow month, or a temporary dip in energy arises, they completely panic. They drop to their knees. They sink into deep depression, anxiety, and doubt. They assume that everything they have built is permanently ruined, that the universe has abandoned them, and that they are back at square one. They internalize a temporary downswing and turn it into a permanent identity. You're negotiating with your potential. Every single time the pendulum swings back into a natural, resting phase, you want to throw in the towel and quit. You think a bad day means a bad life. You think a slow week in your business means your entire career is failing. You are letting a temporary shift in the cosmic tide dictate your permanent value. The master uses the law of neutralization to beat this rhythm. You cannot stop the pendulum from swinging. You cannot force the universe to be in a constant state of high-energy summer. You cannot command the tide to stay high forever. But you can absolutely choose not to go along with the downward ride. When the pendulum swings back into a negative, slow, or challenging phase, you do not ride it down into the depths of despair. You rise above it into your higher self. You observe the downswing with calm, poised detachment, knowing with absolute certainty that it is a temporary law, and that the upswing must follow. You don't get emotionally attached to the winter, because you know the spring is already on its way. You've mistaken fear for wisdom. You think that panicking, stressing, crying, and overanalyzing during a down cycle is being realistic, mature, and responsible. It is not. It is just pure, unadulterated ignorance of the universal law. Think about winter again. When winter comes and the trees lose their leaves, do you sit in your house and weep, thinking the sun is gone forever and the planet is dead? No. Of course not. You put on a warm coat, you turn on the heater, and you prepare your life for the spring. You know the cycle perfectly. You trust the law of nature. Apply that exact same metaphysical wisdom to your internal life. When you experience a dip in your business revenue, a slowdown in your career progress, or a temporary drop in your physical energy, do not internalize it. Do not say, "I am a failure, nothing ever works for me." Instead, look at the pendulum and say, "This is just the natural rhythm. The tide is going out, which means it must come back in. I am preparing for the next big upswing." Wallace D. Wattles, the author of The Science of Getting Rich, stated that the creative mind is always steady, unwavering, and constant. It does not fluctuate or waver based on shifting external appearances. If you look at a slow month and judge your success by that appearance, you drop your vibration and capture yourself in that low state. You must maintain your inner vision of prosperity, health, and success, even when the immediate physical rhythm seems slow, stagnant, and dead. Use the low cycles of life for deep rest, strategic reflection, and inner alignment. Clean up your internal state. Do more mind reprogramming. Refine your skills, read the books, and sharpen your tools. Then, when the rhythm naturally shifts back to the positive, expressive side, you will be launched higher, further, and faster than ever before. Stop letting the daily emotional tides of life wash you away like a helpless piece of driftwood. Be the solid, unshakable rock that stands firm in the center of the roaring ocean. Master your rhythm, and you master your destiny. To the high end of Chapter 6, The Principle of Cause and Effect. The sixth universal law states an absolute, inescapable truth that leaves no room for luck, chance, or accident. Every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law, chance is but a name for law not recognized, there are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. Take a moment to step back and look at your life through the lens of this unyielding law. Nothing, absolutely nothing, in this universe ever happens by accident. Chance, or luck, are just terms invented by ignorant minds to describe a mechanism they cannot see or understand. There are no coincidences. There are no random strokes of misfortune. There are many planes of causation, operating from the densest physical layer to the highest spiritual layer, but absolutely nothing escapes the grand ledger of the law. In this world, the vast majority of human beings live helplessly on the plane of effect. They are the victims of their environment, their genetic inheritance, their boss's mood swings, the fear-mongering of the media, and the random opinions of strangers online. They live in a constant, exhausting state of reaction. They are like billiard balls on a table, constantly being slammed into, bruised, and redirected by the cue ball of life. They have absolutely no control over where they land, yet they spend all their time crying about the state of the table. But you are being called through this spiritual awakening to step off the plane of effect and step onto the plane of cause. You are meant to be the master player standing over the table, holding the cue stick with absolute confidence, intent, and structural precision. The problem isn't out there. If you do not like the effects you are currently seeing in your physical life, if you do not like your bank balance, the vitality of your body, the peace in your home, or your current career trajectory, you must stop fighting the effects and look ruthlessly at the causes you have been setting into motion. And what is the ultimate, primary cause of everything you experience? It is your thoughts, your deep subconscious beliefs, and your habitual actions. Every single time you choose to complain about your circumstances, you are actively setting a specific cause into motion. The inevitable, mathematical effect will be more circumstances that justify your complaints. Every single time you invest your focus time, attention, and capital into your personal growth and mind reprogramming, you are setting a powerful cause into motion. The effect will be personal expansion, sudden opportunities, and breakthroughs. You reap exactly what you sow, there is no cheating this cosmic ledger. You cannot plant thorns and expect to harvest roses. Let's have a playful reality check. If procrastination were a profession, you'd be up for a promotion. You say you want the effect of massive financial freedom, but your daily cause is sleeping in, wasting hours consuming mindless entertainment, scroll-minding on your phone, and completely refusing to read books, build digital assets, or learn high-value skills. You say you want the effect of a deeply loving, stable relationship, but your daily cause is bitterness, constant criticism of others, historical baggage, and deep insecurity. It does not work that way. The law of cause and effect is completely mathematical, cold, and unyielding. Joseph Murphy wrote extensively that your powerful subconscious mind is the absolute executioner of this law. Whatever cause you plant deep within its fertile soil through intense emotional repetition and belief, it will bring forth as a tangible effect in your physical, three-dimensional reality. Your subconscious doesn't argue, it executes. Neville Goddard took this understanding to its absolute peak. He taught that by deliberately assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are setting the ultimate spiritual cause into motion. You are stepping completely out of the timeline of struggle. You are forcing the physical world to produce the exact effect that matches your deep, unwavering inner conviction. You cease to be a product of your environment becomes a product of you. Stop waiting for things to magically happen to you. You're waiting instead of deciding. If you want a completely different life, you must deliberately, consciously initiate new causes today. Right now. Change your morning routines. Change your self-talk. Stop letting negative words pass your lips. Take bold, decisive, inspired action toward your biggest goals. Stop acting out of fear and start acting out of absolute power. Your future self is watching this choice. What specific causes are you setting into motion in this exact second? Are you planting seeds of greatness, discipline, and freedom, or are you repeating the same old tired patterns of limitation, laziness, and blame? You are entirely responsible for your life. Every single bit of it. That is not a heavy burden, it is the ultimate freedom. If you caused your current mess through your past programming, it means you have the absolute power to cause your ultimate triumph through your present awareness. Step up to the plate, take the cue stick into your hands, and become the conscious Chapter 7, The Principle of Gender. The seventh universal law states a beautiful, creative, and highly misunderstood truth: gender is in everything, everything has its masculine and feminine principles, gender manifests on all planes. Take a moment to strip this law of all modern political, social, and anatomical definitions. This principle has absolutely nothing to do with physical sex, biology, or sociology. It is about the two core, fundamental, and balancing forces that are required for any form of creation to take place in the cosmos. Nothing can be born, nothing can grow, and nothing can be manifested into physical form without the direct cooperation of these two distinct energies. They are the yin and yang of consciousness. The masculine energy is the expressive, active, directive, and protective force. It is the focused will, the sharp intellect, the projector of thought, and the driver of outward action. It is the energy that penetrates, builds, and executes. The feminine energy is the receptive, creative, nurturing, and intuitive force. It is the rich imagination, the vast subconscious mind, the deep, dark, fertile soil where the seed grows, and the generator of form. It is the energy that connects, reflects, and allows. True self-realization, spiritual awakening, and personal mastery require the perfect balance, integration, and harmony of these two forces within your own individual consciousness. The vast majority of people in modern society are completely out of balance, and it is ruining their potential. They fall into one of two dangerous traps. First, many rely entirely on their masculine energy. They hustle, grind, force, sweat, and try to violently manipulate the physical world to get what they want. They work 80 hours a week, burn their bodies out, ruin their mental health, and live in a state of permanent survival mode. They are trying to create through sheer, brute physical force alone, completely ignoring the feminine principle of creation. They are trying to build a house without ever consulting the blueprint. Or, they fall into the opposite trap and rely entirely on their feminine energy. They dream, visualize, meditate, write in their journals, and wait around for things to magically fall into their lap from the sky. But they never take action. They never leave their house. They never make a sales call. They never risk rejection. They never use their masculine will to focus their mind, face discomfort, and execute their plans in the real world. They are passive dreamers who get absolutely nothing done, sitting in a messy room waiting for a miracle. You're fooling yourself. You think that meditating for hours or making a beautiful vision board is going to fix your financial life while you refuse to do any hard work, take risks, or provide real value in the marketplace. Or you think working yourself to the bone is going to make you rich while your inner mind is terrified of poverty and vibrating with scarcity. Both approaches are fundamentally broken. They are a violation of universal law. You need both forces operating in absolute, synchronized harmony. Your conscious mind, the masculine, must choose the seed of clear intention and deliberately plant it into your deep subconscious mind, the feminine. Once that seed is planted, your feminine energy takes over, nurturing it through absolute faith, vivid imagination, and quiet expectation. You allow the seed the necessary time to gestate in the dark, invisible womb of the subconscious. Then, your masculine energy steps back in to take inspired, disciplined, courageous action in the physical world to harvest what you have grown. Florence Scovel Shinn, a master of New Thought frameworks, beautifully illustrated this balance of energies. She said that you must actively prepare for the thing you have asked for. That preparation is the feminine, receptive state of total faith. If you are asking the universe for a new house, go out and buy the keys. If you are asking for a new career, buy a professional outfit. You combine your inner, invisible feminine faith with your outer, tangible masculine preparation and execution. Stop acting like a victim of your internal imbalances. Look at your life right now with brutal, unyielding honesty. Where are you stuck? Are you overthinking and underacting? Are you trapped in your head, overcomplicating simple things because you are afraid to move? Or are you overworking, spinning your wheels, and underbelieving? Bring these two majestic forces into perfect harmony today. Let your intellect serve your imagination. Let your physical action support your inner vision. When the masculine will and the feminine imagination marry within your disciplined consciousness, you become a completely unstoppable force. You tap directly into the infinite reservoir of infinite intelligence. You open the grand door to true transformation and create a living masterpiece out of your destiny. Chapter 8, The Prison of the Ego. Now that you understand the 7 universal laws of reality, we must confront the single biggest obstacle, the ultimate enemy, to your spiritual awakening and personal freedom, your own ego. The ego is the false self. It is nothing more than a collection of old stories, labels, past traumas, societal conditioning, and limiting beliefs that you have mistakenly chosen to think is you. It is that cynical, quiet voice in your head that constantly whispers, "You can't do that, you aren't smart enough, you aren't worthy of that kind of success," or "It's too risky, stay safe." The ego absolutely hates change. It is terrified of it. Its entire evolutionary job is to keep you safe and alive, which to the ego means keeping you exactly where you are right now. It wants you to stay in the familiar, predictable zone, even if that familiar zone is miserable, broke, and soul-crushing. To the ego, a familiar hell is always safer than an unfamiliar heaven. It will fight tooth and nail to keep you from expanding. That's your ego talking. Every single time you come up with a brilliant, logical reason why you cannot pursue your dreams, why you cannot start that digital platform, or why you cannot leave that stagnant situation, that is just your false self trying desperately to protect its territory. Let's have a serious, unfiltered reality check here. You've become very committed to a story that's no longer serving you. You have a highly detailed story about why you are stuck. You have a story about why you are unappreciated or unloved. You have a story about why your circumstances are uniquely difficult. You guard these tragic stories like they are precious, golden treasures. You get defensive and angry when someone suggests that you can change them today. Why? Because if you drop the story, your ego has to die. If you drop the story, you lose your favorite shield. You have to take absolute, terrifying responsibility for your life. Be honest with yourself. You prefer the comfort of your excuses over the effort required for your transformation. You like being able to blame others or your past because it lets you off the hook. Charles F. Haanel taught that the very first step to mastering the physical world is to achieve absolute mastery over the self. You must learn to separate your true identity, your higher self, the divine spark of consciousness, from the constant, noisy chatter of your ego. You are not the voice in your head. You are the one listening to the voice. You are the awareness behind the thoughts. When your ego looks at your environment and says, "We don't have enough, we are going to ruin," you must recognize that as a primitive survival mechanism, not a metaphysical fact. Neville Goddard urged us to completely step away from the evidence of the physical senses. The ego relies entirely on what it can see, touch, and hear. It looks at a bleak situation and says, "This is all there is, you are trapped." But the spiritual mind looks past the physical shadow, into the quantum field of imagination, and sees infinite wealth, freedom, and potential. You're giving away your power every single time you choose to believe your small, terrified ego over your grand, expansive vision. Joseph Murphy explained that to successfully program the subconscious mind, you must first quiet the noisy conscious ego. You must enter a state of deep physical relaxation, sit in the silence, and feed your mind higher, majestic truths. You must tell your ego to sit down, be quiet, and step aside while you commune directly with the infinite intelligence that created you. Stop letting your false self run your life. It is small, it is terrified, it is cynical, and it is profoundly limited. You are none of those things. You are a divine spark of consciousness expressing itself in human form. You have the 7 universal laws of the cosmos operating on your side. The next time you feel fear, hesitation, laziness, or the sudden urge to complain and make an excuse, catch yourself immediately. Take a deep breath and say, "That is my ego talking, it is not me." Step into your true inner power. Choose the path of expansion over the path of small safety. Your greatness is waiting. Chapter 9, The Power of Assumption. It is time to look at the practical, daily mechanics of mind reprogramming. How do you actually shift your internal consciousness to manifest a completely new physical reality? The absolute answer lies in the law of assumption. This profound concept, deeply championed and taught by Neville Goddard, states that if you want to change your outer world, you must boldly assume the psychological, emotional state of the person you want to be right now. You do not wait for the money to arrive in your hand before you feel rich. You assume the deep, quiet feeling of wealth now. You do not wait for the healing to occur before you feel vibrant. You assume the state of health now. You must live, breathe, walk, move, and think from the mental state of your wish fulfilled. But I can hear your ego pushing back already. That's a convenient excuse. You say, but that's just lying to myself. That's a delusion. I have to be realistic. Who told you that was a good idea? Who told you that believing your current limitations are the only truth is the smart way to live? Look where being realistic has gotten you. It has kept you stuck in the exact same spot for years. Your current physical reality is not a solid, permanent thing. It is just the dead echo of your past thoughts and past assumptions. It is yesterday's news. By focusing entirely on your current limitations, by being realistic about your struggles, you are just keeping them alive. You are regenerating them every single day. You are assuming the state of lack, and then you are wondering why you stay broke. You are trapped in a loop of your own making. You're arguing for your limitations again. Metaphysics shows us that imagination is the creative preview of life's coming attractions. What you imagine with deep, intense feeling, your subconscious mind accepts as an absolute present fact. And what the subconscious mind accepts as a fact, it must externalize in your physical world. It has no choice. It is a servant to your assumptions. Let's do a reality check on your mind. Look at how much energy, time, and creativity you spend every day imagining worst-case scenarios. You imagine your car breaking down on the highway. You imagine getting fired from your job. You imagine your partner cheating on you or leaving you. You imagine running out of money. You do those assumptions with total emotional intensity, vivid detail, and absolute belief. You are a literal master at assuming the worst. You do it effortlessly. It is time to flip the script completely. Use your immense inner power to assume the best. Every single night, right before you fall asleep, enter into a state of deep relaxation. Bring your ultimate goal to the front of your mind. See it clearly. But more importantly, feel it. Feel the relief wash over you. Feel the pride in your chest. Feel the deep, quiet gratitude of having already achieved it. Sleep in that assumption. Make it your dominant mental home. Florence Scovel Shinn said that true faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen by the physical eye. Your assumption is an act of supreme spiritual faith. It is saying to the universe, I trust the law of mentalism completely. I know my inner world creates my outer world, and I am claiming my kingdom right now. Stop waiting for permission, for a sign, or for external proof. You're waiting instead of deciding. Decide today who you are going to be. Assume the posture of a master. Walk through the world with quiet confidence. Think thoughts of abundance. Treat yourself with profound respect. When you permanently change your inner assumption, the entire universe will conspire behind the scenes to bring your physical reality into perfect, beautiful alignment with your. Chapter 10, Reprogramming the Subconscious Mind. Your subconscious mind is the absolute powerhouse of your existence. It runs your entire life behind the scenes. It controls your heartbeat, your breathing, your digestion, your nervous system, and over 95% of your daily behaviors, choices, and habits. It is also the sacred bridge between your individual self and the infinite, creative intelligence of the universe. The problem is, your subconscious mind is currently programmed with absolute garbage. It was programmed by your well-meaning but limited, terrified parents who told you that money doesn't grow on trees. It was programmed by school teachers who told you to sit down, stay small, and stop being disruptive. It was programmed by the negative news media that wants you to live in a state of permanent panic. It was programmed by every single failure, heartbreak, and rejection you ever experienced. If you do not intentionally, ruthlessly do the daily work of mind reprogramming, your past will continue to dictate your future until the day you die. You will remain trapped in the exact same cycles, marrying the same type of person, making the same amount of money, and experiencing the same anxieties. The comfort zone called, it misses you. It wants you to keep your old, dusty programming because it is easy, predictable, and requires zero effort. But let's have an honest reality check here. Your future self is watching this choice. Are you going to leave your powerful mind on autopilot and let the world steer your ship, or are you going to take the wheel into your own hands like a master? Joseph Murphy gave us clear, scientific instructions on how to overwrite the subconscious script permanently. The subconscious mind is highly suggestible, wide open, and ready to be programmed during two specific times. The 20 minutes right before you fall asleep and the 20 minutes right after you wake up. In these moments, your brain drops into alpha and theta waves. The critical, analytical conscious mind drops its guard. This is your ultimate window of opportunity. Do not waste these sacred moments scrolling through social media, checking email, or worrying about tomorrow's bills. Who told you that was a good idea? That is pure mental suicide. Instead, use affirmations, mental visualization, and deep feeling. Speak to your subconscious mind with absolute authority and warmth. Do not say, I want to be successful, because that just emphasizes that you do not have it. Say, I am successful. Divine wealth flows to me effortlessly. I am a master of my reality. Wallace D. Wattles noted that a single thought held with absolute faith, purpose, and clarity is worth 1,000 random, wandering thoughts. You must be completely relentless. You must repeat your new truths day in and day out, every single morning and every single night, until they become your default state of consciousness. You must flood the engine with light. You're overcomplicating it. You think you need a complex, secret ritual, an expensive course, or a guru to change your life. You do not. You just need absolute, unwavering consistency. You need to stop feeding the old programming and start flooding your mind with the new vision. If a doubt or a fear creeps into your mind during the middle of the day, do not panic and do not indulge it. That's your ego talking. Just stamp it out immediately with a declaration of truth. Say, no, that is the old story, it has no power over me. My new reality is locked in. Take total, ruthless control of your mental inputs. Guard your mind like a fortress. Reprogram your subconscious for greatness, and watch your entire external life transform automatically. Chapter 11, The Illusion of Separation. One of the deepest, most profound truths of esoteric wisdom is that separation is a complete illusion. We look out at the physical world through our physical eyes and we see billions of different people, separate objects, and disconnected events. We feel isolated, small, lonely, and cut off from the rest of reality. We think we are just a tiny, insignificant fragment trying to survive in a massive, cold universe that operates independently of us. This sense of separation is the absolute root cause of all human suffering, anxiety, and conflict. It creates a toxic mindset of fear, aggressive competition, jealousy, and greed. It makes you think that you have to fight others, step on people, and hoard resources just to get your piece of the pie. It creates a permanent, me against the world, mentality that keeps your nervous system in a state of high alarm. But the law of mentalism explicitly tells us that everything is a manifestation of the one supreme mind. We are all intricately connected in the invisible, quantum fabric of consciousness. You are not separate from the universe, you are the universe expressing itself as a person. You are an entire ocean contained within a single drop of water. Stop acting like a victim of a cruel world. The world is not against you, because the world is you. When you truly understand this profound metaphysical truth, your entire approach to life changes. You realize that you cannot harm another person through gossip, theft, or hatred without simultaneously harming yourself. You also realize that you cannot bless, lift up, or love another person without automatically blessing and lifting up yourself. Neville Goddard frequently talked about the truth that everyone is you pushed out. The people you meet in your daily life are just mirrors reflecting back to you your own deep-seated beliefs, expectations, and assumptions about them and about yourself. If you believe that people are inherently untrustworthy and out to get you, you will constantly meet untrustworthy people who validate that belief. If you believe that the world is loving, supportive, and full of opportunity, that is exactly what you will experience. You've mistaken fear for wisdom. You think being cynical, guarded, cold, and suspicious of everyone protects you from getting hurt. In reality, it just isolates you from the infinite supply, love, and magic of the universe. You are locking yourself in a dark cell of your own making, cutting off the flow of infinite intelligence. Charles F. Haanel explained that when you realize your oneness with the universal mind, you gain immediate access to all the power, wisdom, and abundance that exists. You stop trying to aggressively manipulate people on the physical plane. Instead, you change your inner state, and the right partners, resources, and opportunities are drawn to you automatically through magnetic resonance. Florence Scovel Shinn taught that you must wish for everyone what you wish for yourself. If you see someone succeeding in your field, making millions, or living in a beautiful relationship, do not dare to be jealous or bitter. Rejoice for them. Celebrate their victory. Their success is absolute proof that abundance is real and available in the universe. By celebrating their win, you draw that exact same success energy into your own experience. By envying it, you push it away. You're negotiating with your potential when you stay trapped in small-minded competition and gossip. Drop the armor today. Stop viewing others as threats to your success. Realize that you are playing a grand cosmic game with yourself. Elevate your view of humanity. Treat everyone with the dignity of a creator and watch how quickly the world transforms into a cooperative, loving mirror of Chapter 12, Activating Your Inner Power. We have covered the 7 laws, the subconscious mechanics, the ego blocks, the illusion of separation, and the power of assumption. Now, we arrive at the most critical, defining step of this entire experience, execution. Knowledge without application is completely, utterly useless. It is nothing more than intellectual entertainment. It makes you feel sophisticated while your life remains completely stagnant. You can listen to this wisdom all day long, you can memorize the chapters, and you can quote the ancient masters, but if you do not actively change your daily behavior, your life will remain exactly the same. The universe rewards execution, not mere intention. You're waiting for permission that no one is going to give you. You are waiting for the perfect moment to start. You are waiting until you have more money in the bank, until you have more free time, until the economy improves, or until you feel 100% confident. Hear me clearly, there is no perfect moment. There never will be. There is only one right now. To activate your inner power, you must step out of the weak realm of wishing and into the majestic realm of deciding. A wish is a passive, fragile thing that relies on luck and external validation. A decision is an absolute spiritual command. When you truly decide to change your life, you cut off any other possible outcome. You burn the bridges behind you. You declare that you will either succeed or die trying. There is no plan B. Your excuses are working harder than you are. Let's do a final, unfiltered reality check. If an objective observer looked at your daily calendar, your bank statements, and your habits over the last 30 days, would they reflect a person who is actively mastering their destiny? Or would they reflect a person who is asleep at the wheel, drifting through life on autopilot? Our frameworks from Wallace D. Wattles made it abundantly clear that you can only act in the present moment. You cannot act in the past, and you cannot act in the future. You must do everything you can do today, and you must do each act in a successful manner. This means putting your full presence, your absolute excellence, and your unshakable faith into every single task you touch, no matter how small or mundane it seems. Whether you are typing an email, making a business call, or organizing your desk, do it like a master. Be honest with yourself. You have been cutting corners. You have been giving 50% effort while expecting 100% luxury results. Who told you that was a good idea? True self-realization requires radical, uncompromising personal responsibility. It means you stop complaining about your boss, your background, or the government. You accept that you are the sole author of your experience. If things are going wrong, you look inward, fix your vibration, and take immediate, inspired action. Use your masculine energy to execute your plans with fierce discipline and consistency. Use your feminine energy to maintain absolute, calm faith in the final outcome. Lean on the 7 universal laws, knowing that they can no more fail than the law of gravity can fail. They are dependable, mathematical constants. Your future self is watching this choice. Will you slip back into your old, comfortable story of limitation and victimhood the moment this audio ends? Or will you stand up straight, claim your divine inheritance, and step into your true power? The choice is yours, and you are making it in closing, the Master of Destiny. We have reached the end of this spoken journey, but it is actually the true beginning of your life. You now possess the keys to the kingdom. You understand the hidden, immutable mechanics of reality. You know that the all is mind. You know that your outer world is nothing more than an exact reflection of your inner state. You know how to ride the waves of vibration, polarity, rhythm, and gender. There is no more room for ignorance. There is no more room for excuses. The veil has been lifted from your eyes. Stop acting like a victim. You can never look at your life again and say, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. You know exactly why. It is happening because of your consciousness. It is happening because of the seeds you have allowed to grow in your subconscious mind. You've become very committed to a story that's no longer serving you. It is time to let that old, small story die today. Leave it here. Let it burn away completely in the brilliant fire of your spiritual awakening. Remember the ancient words of the Master Jesus, the kingdom of God is within you. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is the absolute, scientific reality of existence. The infinite intelligence that created the stars, the galaxies, and the oceans is dwelling inside your own mind, waiting patiently for your conscious command. Do not beg the universe for scraps. Do not negotiate with your potential. Do not wait around for someone to save you. No one is coming to save you, because you do not need saving. You just need to wake up. Commit to the daily, relentless work of mind reprogramming. Guard your thoughts like a warrior. Master your emotions. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled with unshakable conviction. Take bold, inspired action every single day without fail. You are not a helpless observer in this life. You are the author, the director, and the main character. It is time to write an epic story. Step into your inner power. Claim your self-realization. Master your destiny. Go forth and create your kingdom.